Ladies and gentlemen, Vladimir Putin was never frightened, ever, of Clinton. Never frightened to the point of infiltrating the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated, therefore giving the golden muumuu the popular vote, while at the same time giving swing states to Trump because of Facebook ads that nobody saw, thus forcing W. Wasserman Schultz to resign in disgrace. While Clinton won the popular vote, I don't know if I already mentioned that. It's so convoluted, it's so nonsensical, it's so irrational, it's so absurd, the whole thing. Trump never worked with Russia. He won. I wrote in the Huffington Post and Salon that Clinton was unelectable in 2015. She would lose swing states, I wrote. All of it happened. I was right then, and I will be right again. Clinton is going to lose again to Trump. They can't. It's a political machine. Now, the Steele dossier was purchased by Clinton. Alexander Downer was linked to the Clinton Foundation. The CrowdStrike was outsourced by Democrats. How many more conflicts of interest can you have? Peter Strzok said, "We will stop Trump." And the whole thing's nonsense. Now, you have CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Daily Beast, Esquire, what else? Mother Jones, The Nation, Rolling Stone. You have all of Hollywood. You have everybody from the LA Times to pretty much every major newspaper in the country backing Democrats, supporting the Democratic Party's narrative. It's always Trump, orange, bad, horrible person. Look what he said now. When President Obama was drinking Flint water when it was still very, very, I don't know, what's the word? Poisonous? When he was drinking the water in Flint to deceive people in a shameful publicity stunt. At least he didn't say anything bad about, fill in the name. Trump's gone after a lot of people because they've gone after him, but whatever. When President Obama and the man who defeated Cornflakes and Frankenberry and Count Chocula and Grape Nuts, Biden, who turned into a reptile on national television when he was presiding over the failed NATO intervention along with Clinton and President Obama of Libya, destroying that country. At least they were presidential. I'm leading up to, look, there's going to be more than just Shepard Smith leaving. There are going to be more people than just Shepard Smith leaving. Check out my segment prior to this one. It's doing great. It's doing fantastic. Check out the segment prior to this one. Fox News on-air hosts at a loss for words over Shepard Smith's departure. Quote, "I'm a little stunned and a little heartbroken. I don't know what to say." A visibly shocked Neil Cavuto said, I actually like Neil Cavuto. Shepard Smith, not so much. But Neil Cavuto I like. I love Judge Andrew Napolitano. Now, I know that he's tough on President Trump, but I love Napolitano. I did not enjoy Shepard Smith. Neil Cavuto is, he has an interesting personality, but you're going to see more people like Neil Cavuto leave. Chris Wallace is very annoying to me. Very annoying. But he has, stature, I guess, in journalism. I guess he's been, around a long time, done a lot of things. But you're going to see resignations. You're going to see either people leaving, new people taking their place, or you're going to see people like Neil Cavuto support President Trump more, or at least stop pretending that they're speaking truth to power. You have everyone at CNN, MSNBC, the Washington Post, the New York Times, it's a media machine around Trump. Now, against Trump, when William Barr met with Rupert Murdoch, almost certainly, he said, look, there are investigations that John Durham and I are doing. We have evidence that they utilized the United States government against President Trump to fabricate and set him up. And it would be nice if you gave him a little bit more favorable coverage, because he's battling an entire media apparatus. The same media machine that said, well, we need to go into these places. Donald Rumsfeld and Cheney and President George W. Bush, who's now friends with Hollywood celebrities. Wow. Those people, they utilized the media. The media is not, it's not about truth. It's about entertainment, and it's about gravitating towards the establishment narrative at all times. The establishment narrative is that Trump is a really bad person. And when they say, well, look at the types of things he's saying. Well, no. Trump's not the type of guy to set up and frame somebody to say that they worked for Russia because they went after his tax returns or something. When's the last time that Trump said, you're working for a foreign country because you want my financial records? And a foreign country wants those records, and therefore you are siding with that foreign country's interests over me because you're trying to find out dirt on me. That would never fly, ever, 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 ever. They would never allow that. Oh, yeah, Trump, no, sorry, if you've messed up, it doesn't matter where we get the information. And they already used, the Steele dossier was purchased by Clinton. Rush Limbaugh, by the way, shared one of my articles below. You can see that in the pinned comment. The Steele dossier was a bunch of nonsense. Nothing verified. Nothing. Actually, how can complete fantasy be verified? It's ridiculous. But they utilized that because they said, gosh, it was so chaotic. We didn't know what was going on. This wasn't this invasion of our democracy. This was simply a political party that allegedly was hacked by another country, where the other country wanted everyone to know that Clinton was using a private server and servers outside of the United States government that the president of the country knew. President Obama, in one of the emails, the campaign emails, Cheryl Mills is saying we have to clean this up. President Obama knows that Clinton doesn't have a state.gov. He's received emails. He knows that Clinton does not have a state.gov. Don't you think they would have read, if the Russians hacked the DNC, and if the Russians hacked the campaign emails, don't you think they would have read these emails? There are 500 conflicts of interest at the Clinton Foundation, according to the campaign emails. These are emails written by the Democrats, Clinton Foundation officials, all these people. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. So it was Russian national security, the Russian intelligence services infiltrated the DNC, but they stopped short of Clinton's email servers with top secret and special access program intelligence for 4 years. Thousands of classified emails. But Putin wasn't smart enough, don't you know? He wasn't good enough at chess. The former KGB leader and how many decades now has he been leading Russia? He just wasn't smart enough to put two and two together and read the campaign emails that he deliberately tried to obtain. And realized that Clinton used servers outside of the United States government where she found ingenious ways to transfer top secret and special access program intelligence onto. People emailed her classified data. All 130 of those people are now being investigated by William Barr. You lose. But, I mean, Fox News, you're going to have people... You're either going to have more resignations, or you're going to have a different. It'll be the antithesis of CNN, because it's not now. Where's the Shepard Smith and Neil Cavuto, and there's maybe 2 or 3 other personalities on Fox? Where are the equivalents on CNN? There are no equivalent. There's no equivalent of Shepard Smith on CNN or MSNBC. That person does not exist. That person is not speaking truth to corrupt intel people like Comey. Doesn't exist. And if there's a conservative, then it was they go into this whole big thing and they try to tear down the person. There's a gentleman, Paris Denard, who was awesome. He was fantastic. A conservative political commentator. He was on CNN. He ripped the intelligence official a new one. There was an intelligence guy there who was hilarious, who was yelling and yelling. He was so funny. He's a guy that's always on CNN, always pretending that, he's defending the Republic, and I forgot his name, but these people are hilarious. They're like, oh yeah, well, did you know about the fall of the Berlin Wall? Did they accurately predict? Did they accurately even assess or analyze or give information on the Bay of Pigs, on the Gulf of Tonkin, the fall of the Berlin Wall, Bush's quagmires, now Facebook ads? They're wrong on everything. They expect only the allegiance, and then they filter. Isn't it interesting? If you're on YouTube, ask yourself if the pundit is pretty much saying the same thing as CNN, and ask yourself if the pundit and CNN are basically saying the same thing as Clapper. Because they are, and they have been. And it's really, really interesting. And he was great. Paris Denard is great, but that's the way CNN, that's the way they are. I mean, if you're effective and you inform the country on what's going on, they're like, oh my God. But if you're Shepard Smith, people are like crying now because you're gone. Well, William Barr basically said, look, we need some help because they have pretty much an entire machine that runs 24/7, and Trump barely has Fox. Barely. It's not, Fox News is not what it was in the Bush administration. The Bush administration, it was constant circle the wagons. Now they kind of try to give the olive branch here and there to Democrats. And here, we don't like Trump. Also, we're one of you. We're establishment media. Also, it's like this is the Mittens Romney syndrome, or the Paul Ryan syndrome, or the Marco Rubio, or the Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is like. He goes back and forth. Trey Gowdy and Ted Cruz are very interesting. They go back and forth. They're like, but you need some kind of, you need one channel to support President Trump. Yes, you have Hannity. Yes, and on this, like I said in my last segment, Fox News has been on the wrong side of history oftentimes. Now they're on the right side of history. Now, after President Trump defeats Clinton again, which he will, Clinton is not only running, she's going to lose again. And she's going to be a 2-time presidential candidate that loses. But she's a gutsy woman, so who cares? She's a gutsy woman. People say, oh no, she's going to lose. Well, okay, she doesn't care. Well, and I've been saying this for 2 years. I was the first person to say Clinton's going to run again. And as first person to write about that in the Huffington Post. And in 2017, I wrote. And I've been set 50 segments below in the pinned comment. Yes, Clinton's running, and it really doesn't matter if she loses again because she can run again in 2024, whether or not she's indicted. They don't care. There are people who will vote for Clinton no matter what for the next 50 years. It'll be like the original Star Trek. It was, what is his name? The guy with the head on the box. It'll just be like Android Hillary. But I foresee more resignations. I foresee a change in the Fox coverage. I foresee more emphasis on examining what the Justice Department finds out on about corrupt intel officials like Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan. William Barr is smart. He has to create political will, more political will, to start indicting these people. McCabe will eventually get indicted. He'll eventually get indicted. But the interesting thing is, you're going to need some more favorable media coverage regarding the actual criminal activity that they engaged in, or I should say, more honest media coverage. CNN's not honest. And then when you call out somebody on the left and you're like, well, I don't like CNN either. Yeah, you don't. You say you don't like CNN and MSNBC. You say you don't like liberal ideology. This is the people of the far left, but they're always aligned in everything they say to undermine Trump, no matter what, and it serves the purpose of the CNNs of the world. So you'll see a lot more favorable coverage, and you'll see people, maybe Neil Cavuto, you'll see people resigning, finding other jobs, or completely changing their viewpoint on Trump. You're going to see a lot of people like, you know what I was thinking the other day, he's a really, orange is a great color, huh? Is it? And like, you see like Neil Cavuto with like an orange hairdo. Give me your thoughts below. Check out A. Trey Goodman's other channel right now. Huge news.